for a loan. Okay? In reality, we said lending money when the person really needs it is recommended. But the point is, in this instance, no. Okay? Because lending money is not billati hiya ahsan. Lending money in this instance is not something good, because there is a high risk that you'll never get the money back. Okay? There is no benefit. If you look, billati illa billati ahsan, meaning fi manfa'a. When you touch the money of the orphan, there is manfa'a, there is benefit, maslaha. So what kind of maslaha is this orphan is getting from lending his money? You cannot charge interest. It's riba. So the least that will happen, or the most actually will happen, is you get the same money back. So where is the manfa'a? For the orphan, for the money of the orphan, there is no manfa'a. Okay? So lending the money is not part of al-ihsan. Some instances, let's say there's a disaster in an area, and where this money is existing, and there's a lot of robbery and a lot of stealing, and you're worried that money might be stolen, then some of the ulama said you lend it to someone, so he becomes responsible. So if anything happens to the money, it's not your responsibility. He's still obligated to give it back to you. So this way you protected the money of this orphan. Just an example some of the ulama have mentioned. Okay, what's about giving sadaqah? Okay, I'm the wali, I come to the masjid, after salah, the people in charge of the masjid, they say, we need $5,000 or we need $2,000 to pay the bills. We need sadaqah. Can I give sadaqah?
No.
Why?
It's not his money.
Huh?
It's not his money. It's somebody else's.
It's not the money of the wali, it's the money of the orphan, but the main reason is, what is the benefit? Yes, there is benefit, يعني منفعة معنوية, that is sadaqah with Allah and all that. But here we're talking about the money itself. Okay, the amount we're talking about. So regardless that the issue is, it's not your money first thing, but the second thing, giving that sadaqah will decrease the amount. So that is not al-husna, that is not ihsan, that is not doing good for the benefit of the orphan. So sadaqah as well is no for wali to give that. Another question that might arise is, can I spend on this orphan for his school? You know what, we put him in a private school. No. If there is no necessity to put him in that private school over public school, then you are not allowed to spend from his own money. If someone volunteered that he will spend on him, that is fine. If someone volunteered will pay his tuition, that is fine. But to take from his money to send him to private school, unless he needs it, let's say he has disability and some private schools provide better education or whatever, that is fine. But just for the fact, public school difference, you have no right. If you want to spend from your own pocket, go for it. Alright? So that is another issue, because it will decrease the money and there is no ihsan. Also, it's the obligation of al-wali, obligation of the person who's in charge, to take care of the money, in the sense, make sure that the money does not disappear, does not decrease. And one of the things that will decrease money is spending. Yeah, spending, but there is something, let's say he doesn't spend, but there is something that the money has to be paid over this money. Zakat. Yes, it's an orphan money, it's a majnoon money, but هو يعني عليه حق الزكاة. Still, this money you must pay. If it meets a nisab, reaches the nisab over a year, then you must pay zakah on it. So now imagine that you take the money, you're in charge of an orphan's money when he's 3 years old. Imagine until he reached the age of puberty, let's say 15, and every year you pay zakah, every year you pay zakah, obviously the money might vanish. I mean, it's not going to vanish, but it's going to decrease. So you're not doing him a favor. So you're obligated that you take care, you make your best effort to make sure that this money does not decrease. That's why Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anh used to advise those people who are in charge of and who are in this situation to put the money in tijara, in business, so it will grow. At least if it doesn't grow, it doesn't decrease. Whatever the growth can be paid the zakat, they're fine, the money stays. Another solution can be, who's smart here? Who can think of something that I can take that money or that cash, put it in one way, and I don't have to pay zakat, and keep the money the same way, and maybe even grow. صح.
Gold?
Huh?
You buy gold?
Gold? لا, gold, if it's you buy for tijara, it's there is zakat. الذين يكنزون الذهب والفضة. Buy a house. Buy real estate. Buy a house, and there is no zakat on the house itself. You put it for rent. The zakat is on the house or on the rent? On the rent. There's no zakat on the house. But you don't go buy a piece of land with the intention of zakat, of tijara, business, because then you have to pay zakat on it. If you buy a house, people start using, most probably the house will not lose value after 10, 15 years. But at the same time, there's income coming out of it. Alright? And this way, you don't have to pay zakat on the house itself. You only pay zakat on what comes out of the rent. If it stays, meets in nisab, stays for a year, and you can use that to spend on the orphan. So you have to be smart. قال عمر أجروا وارتجروا بأموال يتامى كي لا تأكلها الصدقة. So if someone says, I can't do either, I can't put it in business, I don't know, I can't buy a house, I don't know, then we tell him,
So
go kill yourself. We say, don't be in charge of him. Turn away the responsibility. If they ask you to be in charge, if you're his uncle and you cannot meet these criteria, you cannot do this stuff, stay away from it. Say, I cannot handle it. Okay? I cannot take care of it. Let someone who can do that do it. And Aisha radiallahu anha reported that she used to be in charge of her nephews and nieces' money, and she used to put it in business. Okay, tijara, for this money not to decrease. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah was asked about, can we buy udhiyah for him? Eid comes, Eid al-Adha, can we buy from his money udhiyah? He said, if the money is too much, that means he's musir, he has too much money and buying an udhiyah will not significantly decrease the money, go for it. But if he doesn't have much and he's mu'sir and he's in hardship, then no, okay? Also, the issue if this guardian, the person who's in charge, al-wali, in charge of this orphan, can he take money from it for himself? Okay? Can he pay himself for taking care of it? قال الله تعالى ومن كان غنيا فليستعفف ومن كان فقيرا فليأكل بالمعروف. If he's rich, then he should stay away from it. Okay? If he's rich, he doesn't need it, he should not touch it. But if he's poor and he needs money, فليأكل بالمعروف. Then he eats what's reasonable. He takes what's reasonable. What is reasonable? What is al-ma'ruf? The ulama said he looks at two things. He looks at what he needs, and he looks at how much he would have been paid if he was to be given this job of taking care of the orphan. And which one he chooses? The higher or the lower? The lower. In other words, I'm my situation is not that great. They put me in charge of an orphan.